Ah, ooh, ow. Yeah. But I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you guys a story from Saturday night first. All right. A Saturday night story when things are in full swing. So, I think we can start here. Throughout this past weekend, I've been playing my character, Aeryn. Aeryn, the grumpy, very sadistic, basically evil wild elf. But even grumpy, sadistic, basically evil wild elves have a thing that they are fearful of. And that, my friends, is a demigod-like being. Or a demigod. I guess they are just a demigod. Called the Panthergast, or more recently, the Mortigeist. The Mortigeist. And see, the issue with the Mortigeist is its only job is to come out on Halloween, All Hallows, and kill elves. All elves. All the elves it finds. Every single one. Aeryn. Aeryn. But yes, the Mortigeist comes out and it kills elves. It hates elves, basically. And it's only free from its prison on All Hallows, the All Hallows game. Now, we didn't run into the Mortigeist this game. But what we did run into is a whole bunch of things that drag people away. And then, like, there are these shadows that put you to sleep and drag you away. And you manifest as your greatest fear. And your greatest fear has to be defeated. Right? And then everything's okay. The problem is, a lot of elves have this greatest fear of the fucking Mortigeist. So, Saturday night, I'm sleeping. I'd just gone to bed, probably like an hour beforehand. I'm sleeping in my bed. On the top bunk of like a set of bunk beds in a cabin. And suddenly, like 3 people bust in. And it's the people I've been sharing this cabin with. And they go, "Is the shaman in here?" And I'm like, "What?" You know? They stir and like look up and, "What do you want?" And like, the lawn just got taken by the shadows, and we know what his greatest fear is. You know? And I'm like, still trying to sort of wake up, and they go, the Mortigeist is coming. You know? Oh shit. You know? Get out of my bed, pull my boots on. Don't even put my belt or like my jewelry on or anything like that. Like, just put my boots on, grab my dagger now my dagger, but that'll come in later. Grab my dagger and some spell packets, and out the door we go. And we basically, a whole bunch of us ran into the woods nearby. Because the issue with the Mortigeist is it seeks out elves, but it kills them really efficiently. It swings for like Drain and Dark, and it's super powerful and can sense elves. So if you hear sense elf and you're an elf, you have to say here at like a speaking voice. You know? Just like if you can hear someone say sense elf here. So hiding, just kind of like hiding under blankets doesn't really help you. Yeah. So we ran out into the woods like a far way. and we stood in this brush, and one of my friends who's playing this ice elf rogue, touches two of us on the shoulder and goes, Shadow Meld 1, Shadow Meld 2, Shadow Meld 3, and we're in the shadows, you know, incorporeal, hiding in the forest. There's 5 of us all crouched down there, just waiting, just waiting to see what happens. And you know, a few minutes go by, and we hear fighting in town. You know, somebody yelling, somebody screaming. We hear that fighting die down. Let another 10 minutes pass. We're sitting. It's minus, I don't know, -2, -3 outside at least. I'm not prepared for the cold. I'm crouched in the bushes with my cloak over me, like, fuck, you know, just waiting and hoping that this thing doesn't show up. Another 10 minutes pass. Everything's silent. Everybody's quiet. There's 5 of us there. None of us makes a sound. A single noise. None of us shifts a foot. None of us says a word. We're all sitting there and listening as hard as we can. Another 10 minutes. Nothing. Another 10 minutes. Still nothing. I lean forward and I whisper, I think it may be safe. And everybody sort of like turns, looks around. Everybody's sort of peeking around, and they all nod. Like, we're all cold, like sitting there in the fucking woods. We're all freezing. And everybody sort of stirs and gets up, and we start walking through the woods back towards town. There's sort of like this big clearing of just like lightly positioned trees that leads back to town from where we were. The leaves are down and the footsteps are crunchy. You know, like, as we make our way back to town from our hiding place. And from the left we hear, Sense Elf. And the thing is, in character you don't hear it, right? Like, it's a sense. They are sensing. So you don't hear anybody say anything. It's just words that they're using out of game to communicate to you that they are using a skill. You know? From the left we hear, Sense Elf, and all of us go, here. And we keep walking, because we don't know he's there. And he goes, Sense Elf. We go, here. And I hear footsteps behind us, and I look, and I see this figure approaching. I can't tell who it is. Crunch, crunch, crunch. We're moving away. Fucking thing is approaching us. It comes right up to us and goes, Sense Elf, staring like directly at one of us. And all of us go, here. And it immediately strikes the nearest person. 5 drain. And all of us fucking book it. Like, book it back towards town. Like, full on sprint. Like an actual run for your life. Like, level of running. And I sprint back towards town, and, you know, one of my companions, Adeline, who's visiting from Xenostrand, with her healer, is, like, running along beside me and just fucking screaming, and people are coming out of the houses to try and help and stuff, and there's lots of things happening, and we're being chased, and we make it into town, and I can hear behind just, like, 5 drain, 5 drain, 5 drain, and then, like, somebody falling over, 5 drain, somebody falling over. And I make it back around to the center of town, and I try and, like, dodge behind a building to avoid, being chased further. But as I hit the corner of the building, and sort of duck and stop, I hear Sense Elf again, and I'm like, fuck, here, you know, and he sees me again. I run back around the building, back through the center of town, and I'm running so fast, like, so quickly, and trying to gain so much speed that I'm leaning forward too far, and I fucking stumble forward and, like, elbow plant into the ground, you know, and like, before I even have a chance to realize that I've, like, tripped over and I've fallen, and, I mean, there are other people around, so it wasn't like I was alone in the woods, you know, kind of thing, but I tripped over and fallen and sort of, like, scraped my elbow along the ground. I'm back up. Like it was stumble, fall, try and get up, and as I turn around, the Panthergast is on me and I can't get back to my feet. So I'm on my back, blocking with my club as best I can while he like spears at me. And he looks around and sees another elf that would be a better target. So he goes to me, he goes, "Death, magic death elf," like, and just throws a packet at me, which is just like instant death. But luckily I'd been protected by our healers with a death ward. So basically a death ward allows you to call defense against just death spells. Say death ward and not take it. So he goes, "Magic death elf." I roll a little bit and he do death ward and like try and crawl away, and he just fucking stabs the shit out of me and I'm bleeding out, and he turns around to deal with like someone else, you know. And I get rescued. Someone who's not an elf, like a healer person. I can't remember who it was, but like picks me up and drags me away from the fight and patches me up, healing. And I book it. Like, I was not thinking about anyone else. No, none of my companions, none of my people who'd saved my life, none of the people who were fighting the Panthergast right now. I didn't give a shit. You know, like, I just booked it back up into the woods a different way, and there are other people running too, and I was going like, you know, like, follow me kind of thing, and running off into the woods. If they didn't follow me, that was their own fucking fault, you know? I heard later that they killed the Shade of the Panthergast probably about 20 minutes after that. But holy fuck. Holy fuck. It was a terrifying encounter. That creature is a menace. And I'm not shy to say that, like, I was terrified. Like, I was scared of it. The only issue I had was I was not prepared for the weather where I'd be sitting still for so long and then suddenly running for my life. And I had like this frickin' lung cough for the rest of the night. Like this like pneumonia style, like, oh, this fluid in my lungs, you know, style cough. Because it was so cold and it was like such a hard sort of like I fucking sprint for my life, fight for my life, adrenaline's up, you know, feeling. But yeah, so that's All Hallows at Underworld Calidor. It's a scary place.